In the world of basketball sneakers, Nike has long been the king. From the moment Michael Jordan soared in his Air Jordans, Nike built an empire on NBA star power. For many decades, over 65% of NBA players wore Nike shoes, killing the entire competition. Meanwhile, Adidas, the underdog, once had under 3% of the US basketball shoe market in 2015. Nike's dominance seemed unshakable until now. In recent years, a sneaker war has been quietly fighting on the court. Adidas is making a comeback, signing superstar talent, launching insane sneakers, and capitalizing on Nike's downfall. But how did they do it? Who did they sign? And what's their game plan? Stick around till the end to find out. For many years, Nike's swoosh logo was nearly synonymous with the NBA. They secured the NBA's jersey rights, outfitted the entire teams in Nike gear, and signed a roster of legends: Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and even more. But Adidas often played catch-up because in 2015, Adidas was struggling so badly in basketball that Under Armour was the #2 sportswear brand, and Adidas' share of the US basketball shoe sales was under 3% compared to Nike's 90% plus. Nike's star-studded stable, while Adidas has seen its big investments do good and bad for people like Derrick Rose, who was a once promising signature line that was derailed by injuries, and other Adidas stars like John Wall and Tracy McGrady never reached the cultural prestige of Nike's icons. But Adidas was down, not out, because there's always a comeback. And behind the scenes, Adidas went on a new course. They learned from their past mistakes and began rebuilding with a bold strategy. Rather than chase Nike's formula, Adidas aimed to be, in their own words, the best version of us and not trying to be anybody else. This meant innovating in design, embracing player creativity, and deeply embedding in basketball culture. And by 2021, Adidas overhauled its basketball division with new leadership. Eric Wise, a longtime Adidas executive, took over as global general manager of Adidas basketball and immediately set out to shift the culture. Adidas basketball family culture is something we wanted to build, and Wise said it always starts with people making sure we come together as family and have a clear vision. He and his team assembled what one writer called a dream team of talent off the court: seasoned marketers and designers, including Nike veteran Nathan Van Hook, in order to inject fresh design DNA. And with the right people in place, Adidas began a reinvention of its basketball brand, merging its originals heritage with high-performance tech. The timing was perfect because by the mid-2020s, Nike's momentum had plateaued. Nike's overall revenue grew only 1% in 2023. And of course, the signature sneaker market was more crowded than ever, and Nike no longer had a monopoly on top stars. With the opportunity sensing, Adidas launched an aggressive campaign to enter the chat of modern hoops culture with bold products and a player-first approach that were differentiated from Nike. For example, the $200 million game changer James Harden. In August of 2015, Adidas stunned the industry by luring the Houston Rockets star away from Nike with a 13-year, $200 million deal. Nike, who already had many signature stars, opted not to match the massive offer. And so, James Harden, who had never been given a signature shoe in his 6 years with Nike, became the new face of Adidas basketball. At the time, this was a bold gamble. Adidas was desperate for a win, and its previous signee, Derrick Rose, had seen his $185 million Adidas contract yield disappointing returns due to injuries. Although Harden was different, entering his prime with a trademark beard and an electrifying style of play, Harden had a lot of swagger, and as Adidas GM remarked, we're a brand of creators, and James embodies that. His addition is a game changer. Harden did not disappoint. Over the next few years, he won an NBA MVP award and cemented himself as one of the league's most lethal scorers. Off the court, he became a fixture at fashion shows and in hip-hop circles, exactly the kind of cultural crossover star Adidas wanted. Adidas built the Harden signature line around his persona, blurring the lines between performance and style. By 2023, the Harden Volume 7 sneaker would epitomize this fusion. Designed with Harden's input to reflect his game and his high-end fashion taste, the Volume 7 debuted as a remarkable shoe. The result was a striking silhouette that turned heads for its bold, futuristic design, a mix of jet boost cushioning and luxury materials, equally at home on the court or in the tunnel walk before a game. The Harden Volume 7 proved to be a breakout hit for Adidas. It was named Signature Shoe of the Season by Slam magazine, and Harden himself was proud to rock it every single night. Reviewers praised its balance of traction, support, and comfort, noting that Harden's 7th shoe was not just fashionable, but it was fully functional on the hardwood, and it was also culturally good. Rap superstar Lil Baby, who was a close friend of Harden, was gifted an ultra-exclusive chrome pair of Harden Volume 7s, a one-of-one chrome colorway made just for him, showing how Adidas was leveraging its athletes to penetrate streetwear and music scenes. In one swoop, Harden's partnership gave Adidas credibility in performance basketball and in cultural design, and for Adidas, Harden's signing was a turning point. It announced that Adidas was willing to outbid and outthink Nike for for top talent, it also signaled to other players that Adidas would make them a priority. Harden went from a Nike role player to the centerpiece of Adidas' roster. Complete with his own apparel line and heavy marketing push, the bet really paid off. Harden gave Adidas a legitimacy in the NBA that it had lacked since the early 2000s, when Kobe Bryant and T-Mac were both signed with Adidas. Now, with Harden leading the way and wearing shoes he helped design, Adidas had a genuine signature superstar in the NBA Finals conversation almost every year. But if Harden brought swagger, then Damian Lillard definitely brought heart. And from the moment Damian Lillard entered the league in 2012, he was an Adidas athlete, one of the few bright spots in Adidas' roster during the 2010s. Lillard, an overlooked college player from a small school, carried a giant chip on his shoulder. He won Rookie of the Year in 2013 and quickly proved himself as a clutch scorer with a loyal following. In 2014, after just 2 seasons, Lillard renegotiated his Adidas deal to a 10-year, $100 million contract, fulfilling a childhood dream of having his own signature shoe. Lillard even said, "My entire life, I've dreamed of having my own signature shoe." And by 2015, Adidas rolled out the first Damian Lillard 1 sneaker, and Dame's signature line was born. But what makes Lillard's partnership with Adidas special is the authenticity behind it. Lillard isn't just a baller, he's also a rapper, and a figure deeply connected to his hometown. Adidas embraced all facets of Lillard's identity, and they kept his shoes affordable. In fact, Lillard's latest model, the Dame X, released in 2025, and is priced at $95, making it the first signature basketball shoe in years under the $100 mark. Lillard pushed for this, saying he wanted his 10th basketball shoe to be accessible to young players and fans who might not afford pricier shoes. It's rare to see a superstar deliberately lower the price, and it highlights Adidas' athlete-first philosophy, empowering Dame to make that call in service of his fans. And in December of 2024, Adidas underscored their commitment to Lillard by signing him to a lifetime contract extension. This move put Lillard in an elite company, joining LeBron James and Kevin Durant from Nike and Stephen Curry from Under Armour as the only active players with lifetime shoe deals. For a player based in a small market and entering his mid-30s, a lifetime deal was a profound show of faith. It told the world that Adidas sees Lillard not just as a signature athlete, but as family. And as he ages, Adidas is even expanding its influence beyond performance sneakers. In early 2025, Lillard announced a new sneaker called the Dame Time. Not a typical basketball shoe, but an Adidas superstar lifestyle shoe that he helped design as a homage to the intersection of streetwear and sport. He's even had partnerships with other companies like Bape and the Dame 4 collab that brought streetwear flair to his kicks. But let's not talk about him anymore, because someone else who is fashionable, and probably more fashionable, is Anthony Edwards. And if James Harden and Damian Lillard represent Adidas now, Anthony Edwards is its future. The 6'5" phenom from the Minnesota Timberwolves is one of the most athletic people we've seen and has confidence well beyond his 22 years. In just his 4th NBA season, Anthony Edwards became an all-star and a global fan favorite for his high-flying dunks and magnetic personality. Adidas recognized his star potential early, signing Edwards in 2020 as a rookie. And by 2023, they did something Nike had only done for transcendent prodigies. They gave Edwards his own signature shoe at just 22 years old. In late 2023, Adidas unveiled the Adidas AE1, which was Anthony Edwards' first signature sneaker. The AE1 is loaded with symbolism and input from AMP. The debut colorway featured peach and pink tones as a tribute to Edwards' late mother and grandmother, which were their favorite colors. And when the AE1 finally hit stores in December 2023, it did really well. The initial stock sold out online within minutes. It was a signal that a new generation of sneakerheads and NBA fans see Edwards as the next big thing. For Adidas, Anthony Edwards is more than just another athlete endorser. He's being positioned as a face of the brand's basketball future, basically how Jordan was once for Nike. And we can't forget about the NBA's biggest villain, Trae Young. Trae Young signed with Adidas a while ago, and he's had many cool signature sneakers. They're known for their comfort, their traction, and their cool design and colors. But we all know Trae Young is insane at basketball and definitely clutch. But now let's look at why Adidas is actually taking over the NBA. For Nike, no empire crumbles without a few mistakes. Nike's recent years have seen controversies that, in the eyes of some fans and players, tarnish Nike's image and open the door for competitors. The 2 biggest incidents involved Nike's handling of superstar athletes Kyrie Irving and Ja Morant, situations that Adidas has watched very closely. Kyrie Irving was one of Nike's top signature athletes for the better part of a decade. His Kyrie line 1 through 7 was extremely popular, especially among young players. They were relatively affordable, stylish, and had great on-court performance. However, in late 2022, Kyrie embroiled himself in controversy by sharing a link to an anti-Semitic film on social media and initially refusing to apologize. The fallout was severe. The Brooklyn Nets suspended him, and Nike, which was about to release the Kyrie 8, took decisive action. Quoting, "At Nike, we believe there is no place for hate speech and we condemn anti-Semitism," the company stated as its it suspended its relationship with Kyrie and canceled the Kyrie 8 release. By December 2022, Nike officially cut ties. Kyrie is no longer a Nike athlete, a spokesman confirmed. This was a landmark moment, and Nike had rarely ever dropped an active signature athlete. Many praised Nike for taking an ethical stand, but Kyrie's departure left a void. Fans who loved Kyrie's shoes were left hanging, and Kyrie himself became a sneaker free agent, eventually signing with the Chinese brand Anta in 2023. For Nike, losing Kyrie wasn't just losing a talented player. It risked losing a segment of consumers who felt a personal loyalty to Kyrie. On social media, some Kyrie fans vented that Nike acted too swiftly, or that they'd rather follow Kyrie to whatever new brand he went to. Adidas, interestingly, had an indirect relation to this. Kanye West, who had been Adidas' biggest cultural icon with Yeezy sneakers. He had his own anti-Semitic scandal around the same time in 2022, and Adidas ended its partnership with Kanye shortly before the Kyrie saga. Both Nike and Adidas demonstrated a willingness to cut ties with big names over values. But the difference was Adidas' case was in the lifestyle realm, whereas Nike's involved an active NBA star. It showed Nike athletes that a single controversy could end their Nike career overnight. Would Nike have responded similarly if it was a bigger star like LeBron? It's hard to say, but the Kyrie episode planted a seed of uncertainty. Then came Ja Morant, the explosive young guard from the Memphis Grizzlies who was being groomed as Nike's next signature star. In 2023, Morant unveiled his Nike Ja 1 shoe, finally a new signature for Nike's roster, the first since Giannis Antetokounmpo's line launched in 2019. But within months of the Ja 1's release, Morant found himself in trouble twice for Instagram live videos where he flashed a gun. The incident drew widespread condemnation and alarm. Morant was suspended by the NBA and underwent counseling. Nike's responses were notably more measured than with Kyrie. After the first incident, Nike issued a supportive statement saying, "We appreciate Ja's accountability and that he is taking the time to get the help he needs. We support his prioritization of his well-being." They did not drop him, and in fact, the initial Ja 1 Hunger launch at the end of May sold out in minutes. Despite the bad press, evidence that consumers will still buy if the product is hot. However, after the second gun video in May, Nike took action. They pulled Ja's upcoming sneaker colorways off their apps and website. No official statement of dropping him came, and once the NBA handed Morant a 25-game suspension, Nike privately indicated it would continue to support him throughout it. But what truly differentiates Adidas' recent push is its philosophy, because they've signed so many good athletes now and so many young talented stars with slogans on their name and brands behind them, which is truly the smart approach. But just remember, because in 1984, Nike stole the basketball world's attention by signing Michael Jordan and a dynasty was born. But in 2025, the tables are turning. Adidas, once left for dead in the NBA sneaker race, has rebuilt itself into a player-driven powerhouse by signing and empowering stars like James Harden, Damian Lillard, and Anthony Edwards, by crafting sneakers that resonate on and off the court, and by aligning itself with the culture of the game. Adidas has mounted a challenge to Nike's throne that would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Let's be clear, Nike and its Jordan brand reportedly still outfit around 75 of NBA players combined, but culture is not solely about numbers, it's about momentum and perception, and the momentum is with Adidas. Fans are talking about the newest Harden or Dame drop with the same excitement reserved previously for Nike releases. Young hoopers are looking up to people like Ant-Man and Trae Young and saying, "I want to be like him." And right now, the entire game is changing, and so are the players who shape it. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, as it means a lot, please and thank you. YouTube thinks you're gonna like the video that's gonna pop up, so click on it. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day. Seriously, like and subscribe though. Bye.